So hey guys, welcome back again in MUO Sigma classes, and in this lecture we are going to discuss on Django framework pattern. So as you already know about the Django framework, so Django follows and Django supports MVC pattern, and there is of course Mvt pattern, but we will discuss about the Mvt pattern later after. So we will discuss about the Mvt pattern after the MVC. So the very first question is, what is the MVC pattern? And we need to understand the concept first. There are three parts. One is the model, view and controller. So one is the model, right? So what is model? Model is basically related with the data. It is the lowest part of the architecture, which is responsible to maintain the data. So let's talk about the view part. It is highly responsible for displaying all the data, all the parts of the application. So let's talk about the controller. Controller is a code, it is a software code that will basically help us to maintain and control the interaction between the view and the model, right? So basically the controller will control the interaction between the model and the view. So now let's understand the Mvt pattern. So it stands for MVT, Model View Templates. It's slightly different from MVC. In fact, the main difference between the two patterns is Django itself takes care of the controller part, and the template itself is the HTML file. Now we'll see and understand the diagram first. So for example, you have the user, right? User has Django application, so they can interact with Django application. Django application has several of URLs. So because we have a several URLs, so we can have a several of views, and views will interact with the template, and it can also interact with the model. So in the term of when we are talking about the database and we are talking about the real-time data, so we can directly interact with the model part, directly view to model part, right? And when we wanted to show our data into a template format, like we wanted to use the HTML there, so we can directly interact with the template over there. And the interaction, if you're talking about this interaction, it bidirectional. It means when we are sending the request to the model, so we will get the response from the model to view part. The same request when we are making the request from the URL to the view part, and the same response, and then the response will from the view part, it will goes to the URL part. So in the next lecture we will discuss about this pattern. So let's understand the concept once again. So let's see. So just recap the thing once again. We can have several URLs, because you can understand, like we can have the multiple of application, and we can have multiple application under in one project. So in the project layer, we are mapping our URLs to the applications URLs. So under in the project URL, we are mapping all the application URL there. So at the particular of URL, if you're talking about a particular view, so Django framework will make a request to the URL, and the URL at the specific of URL, it makes request to the view part, and according to the request, view makes the request to the template, and also view can make the request to the model part, and according to the request, model will give response to the view, and according to the request, template also will give the response to the view. So this is bidirectional. तो आई होप गाइस आपको वीडियो पसंद आया होगा. लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए चैनल को, एंड मिलते हैं इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो.